and welcome to Work Hates. I'm Bron Lewis, this is Breddy Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a dreadful boss, a shitty workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you're the problem.
You are the problem. Today, we are joined by comedian, Tasmanian, and professional queer. Please give it up for Chloe Black. Yay!
Woo! Hey, gang.
Hello.
Hi there.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, tell us what professional queer means. That sounds, to me, you're like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. You're on a bus. You're going down somewhere in Australia. It's exotic.
Where'd you park
pretty
us?
much it. That's all right. No, I have a really awesome job. I work for a non-for-profit down in Hobart that is just basically kind of a one-stop shop advocacy and education service for like trans or sexually diverse people. Yep. So,
and were you in that? Were you working in that area before this job?
Not really. I kind of lucked out. I did my degree in communications, and then and because part of my role is I'm actually the communications officer, so I manage their social media and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember when I worked crap jobs, I used to think to myself, like, what is the one job I could probably stomach that would actually benefit from all my skills and all my whatever? And I thought, I just want a job where my email address is info@. And now my email address is info@professionalqueers.com.
Is it actually professional queers? Oh, I was going to say, man, Tasmania, they're fucking cool down there. We'll let that ride.
But you're not from Tasmania. You moved there willingly, which blows everyone's mind. I know it's a beautiful place.
I'm putting my foot down. Tasmania is my favourite place in Australia.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a shit place, but it is like a very especially for comedy. Chloe was a comedian before she moved there, and then she moved there, which is like the comedy scene in Tasmania is tiny. Yeah. Is that right?
There's a gig in Lonnie, and which is sporadic, but there's one in Hobart, which is monthly. Yeah. Is there any open mics for you to work?
I mean, I run an open mic.
Oh, you do? Great.
Monthly comedy room. It's kind of like in the middle space where it's like, it's not all new material, it's not all new faces, but it's like, I'll let somebody do up to 10 minutes if they've only done fives for a certain amount of time, and then I'll kind of let people.
Great.
If someone's got like a new bunch of material they want to polish, or they're actually trying to get some old rope really smick or something like that. So it's kind of like a bit of a play area, and it's called Gag Sabbath, and it's like once a month.
Sabbath. I love that. I'm assuming after Black Sabbath.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
Every month I find the most dodgiest and cooked photo of Ozzy Osbourne, and that becomes the flyer of.
Fantastic!
It wouldn't be hard to find. I just bought on vinyl. What a wanker! Yes, I'm officially a Melburnian. I have vinyl now, but I bought the best of Black Sabbath.
I'm a lifelong vinyl tragic. We can totally catch up.
Yeah, I just converted to the dark side. I love the whole process of buying it, putting it on there. Yeah, I'm getting old. I'm 35. I buy honey when I go to country towns.
You're not 35, aren't you? 37?
Yeah, I'm 37. I was trying to.
You're trying to
I thought I was 30. I thought I was 38 this whole year, and I called Mum. I was like, I'm 38 now. She's like, you're fucking 37, dickhead. And I was like, I've gained a year. Hell yeah. What am I going to do with all this time?
Yeah. So what Sabbath did you buy?
It was like the best of.
Oh, fantastic.
So it had like 4 vinyl discs in it. Because I'm obsessed with Ozzy Osbourne. I always have been.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What is it about him?
He's the godfather of fucking metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's the OG. And he's like, him on... was it the Motley Crue doco, or sorry, the biopic or whatever, The Dirt? It just remade me love him again, and then I'm just obsessed with him. Even watching the Osbournes growing
snorting ants. It sounds like a weird story. He just seems like such a cooked unit.
Did he bite a bat's head off?
Bite a bat's head off.
Did he actually do that? Was it alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He bit a bat's head off when
Well, he thought it was a rubber one, so he bit it off, and it was real, and he kept doing the show, and then
Was there blood all over his face?
Yeah, and then instantly after that, they had to take him straight to hospital because of fucking rabies.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that how COVID started?
Yeah, well, that's it.
No, Ozzy fucked the bat.
Oh my God. Okay. Look, I don't know much about metal, but that's the only thing I knew about Ozzy Osbourne, and the fact that he's not a real human anymore. He's like transformed into this
it's kind of like weird because he's like the Osbournes are such a weird moment in history for TV and as well as metal music.
First reality show, wasn't it the Osbournes?
One of the first ones,
or something like that?
Yeah, I loved it. But Ozzy somehow, even though he's like crawling around, he still sings incredibly.
Does he?
And he managed to cheat on his wife last year.
What?
Oh my God, serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It
Holy
was like
hell.
a year or two ago with his massage therapist, and she took him back because she's like, "There's only one Aussie," and that's true. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yuck. Okay, so does Aussie feature in your stand-up?
Well, yeah, actually, I kind of like. Well, I used to
He's your
talk.
muse.
I used to talk about this ages ago, and this is something I haven't actually trotted out for a while. But I used to, I collect vinyl records, but also sometimes when times are tight, I'll sell some online to kind of make a bit of extra money.
Okay.
And when I was at university, because I kind of at the age of nearly 50, I went back to finish my degree, and I was like, well, Aus study's going to get me so far, but I don't really necessarily be able to find a job. So I'll just start siphoning off my record collection and selling a few to just kind of get by. And I managed to kind of sustain myself for quite a while. But at the very end of my degree, COVID hit, and basically it was like, I was just at home. I was really depressed, and I was just kind of crawling to the end of my degree. And I was like, I should probably defer. If I could just give myself 6 months, the fucking world's ending. Who cares?
Yeah.
who gives a fuck about an education?
And then I saw, and I was like, no, Chloe, you've sold so many records to get this far.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne will be so disappointed if you don't.
Yeah,
like,
he'll know.
He'll
He'll
know.
know.
These many great albums, to get here.
That's how you got to the end, was Ozzy Osbourne's
Pretty much. I kind of was like, Sabbath albums, they sell quick, they sell for good money. So I'm like, fuck, I need $150. If I sell those two, I'll be fine. Like,
oh, really? So you did? You sold them?
Yeah.
Well, and
then I've bought them back. So,
Oh,
Did you get them back at a better price?
Yeah. Well, I found some. So record collectors talk about that wonderful that golden find. That's somewhere they go in an op shop or a small town and they find a stash of records. Like I found an antique shop that was selling these primo Sabbath albums for like $5 to $10 each.
Yeah,
and
idiots.
I made about $300.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I thought I got a win on the weekend because I was like, I'm the same. As soon as I go to a shit country town, I go straight to the Vinnies because everyone in country town rides motorbikes or something. So they've always got good motorbike gear in there that someone's died or whatever they put. And I got I mean, it's got blood on it. If you wash it out, who gives a shit?
Mother's tears all
but I
over
got because I've always wanted these like really good snowboarding pants for all the times I go snowboarding. Been twice, sucked at it, but just in case I go back, I need all the gear. And I got like these $600 snowboarding pants for like $20.
Hell yeah!
Fuck yes! Over the moon.
You could resell them.
Not gonna though.
Chloe will.
And then I bought a
She's already
flower
put 'em on.
vase.
Yeah, just tell them Ozzy Osbourne wore them. And
there's a bat in the pocket. You'll love it. But I bought this like nice crystal vase, and the lady I went to the counter, and she's like, "Oh, wouldn't think you would like that." And I was like, I also bought an ashtray, so I'm not too far off the
I'm
fucking
using
mark.
it for an ashtray. Yeah.
I'm gonna drill a hole in it, rip a bong out of it. Calm down, sweetheart. It ain't for flowers, you know. Well, it is for a flower, but a green one. Yeah.
Yeah. So you sell things, but this is not that and this is obviously not your job now. What is the worst ever job? Like worst job you've ever had?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
right.
trying
I
to
think
say.
the worst job I've had, it was working in call centers, because I worked in call centers like 15 years.
For 15 years?
Yeah, I worked in nearly every call center, from Telstra to AGL to Vodafone to like fucking the Commonwealth Bank.
Because notoriously everybody loves those companies. And all those conversations would have been so nice, friendly, welcoming.
Yeah,
it's Telstra. Go fuck yourself, you fucking rats.
Everywhere I worked, it was just, I was on the compliments and good vibes line. Yeah.
What would you say the hit rate is? Because my thing when I'm on the phone with someone in a call center, which always happens, you're already angry because you're waiting 40 minutes. I try and swamp them with niceness. Because I know their day's been so shit. And if you just give them an inch, they're like, oh my God, who's this nice guy?
It can be so refreshing and it's just like, there are these little things that you catch at call centers or listen to at call centers where it's like everyone has their pet peeves. And like me and my friend used to actually say like the one word I hated at a call center was like, you say, hello, this is Chloe, welcome to wherever, how can I help you? And the person goes, listen. And you're like, all right, already the blast.
That's literally.
I'm not paying any.
This is literally 50% of my job, if not 100%, is to listen to you. Continue.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you sigh out. Listen, here's why you're a cunt. You're like, I don't work for this. I mean, I do work for this company, but none of this is my decisions.
But 15 years is a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
why
they all
did
sort
you
of
just
added
keep
up.
going?
Like, I just kind of get thinking, is this all there is, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think I think there's some gaps in between, but I remember, I just, kept like at it, and, it was kind of supplementing. I was doing comedy in the evenings and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it worked out well for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Also, Carl Barron's got this great line, which I heard on like a TikTok the other day, and he's like, I started doing concreting and it was shit, so I thought I'd give it another 12 years. Like the first day I realised it was shit, so I just gave it another 12 years, hoping it would get better. It didn't.
Yeah.
That's everyone. I've been in those jobs, and you're like, well, it's either this or finding a fucking other job.
Yeah,
I guess I know this beast, so I'll keep down that path.
Exactly. It was kind of like I was a classic like high school dropout where, and people say, I'm going to have a gap year when I finish high school. And I had pretty much had a gap decade. So,
Great. Good.
Like I was just on the dole, and I was like trying to be an artist. I thought I was a poet. I was going to like, do whatever and stuff. And then it was like, oh shit, like I've got to get whatever skills I have, and then actually try and like make money, because it was suddenly like, being poor sucks.
Being poor sucks.
But
back in the day, you could, like, this is like 20 years ago, you could actually live off the dole. Now you're what the fuck? I don't even know, like, even getting just groceries, that's all your fucking payments gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild. And that was like when I went back to uni, it was like I'll study covered my rent, and that was it. And so everything else, like comedy, DJing, screenwriting, and then also selling records was pretty much like...
Got to have 20 side hustles.
I reckon I made the most money I've ever made
during COVID.
No.
The $700 payment?
No,
I was going to say, we've roasted so many comics about it. The most some comics have ever made.
Yeah, it was that. Absolutely. No, I was when I was at uni, and I was getting Oz study, and that was and then I also I did cash and hand job like at a restaurant, and tips at the restaurant were really good. Yeah. And so I made, and then I went and became like my uni degree finished. I had to become a teacher, and then I went to like $50,000 a year or whatever it was at the time, and I was like, "Is this it?" I was making more, giving people a bowl of hot chippies. Like it was just, but Oz study was only good if you had a cash in hand job.
You had to have it.
You had to.
When I came to Melbourne, sorry, the ATO or the government or who gives a fuck. They're not listening.
They don't care.
They don't give a fuck. But I was
Thanks for the cash.
Thank you for the cash. I needed it. But I had the dole payments or the whatever, and plus I was in a call center selling comedy tickets. Yeah.
Oh my god. Sorry, was this for like? Because
Did you do as well?
I sold tickets door to door for the Comics Lounge for one single day.
Did you?
Did you hate it?
Door to door?
Yeah, I actually quit halfway through the day. Like
it wasn't that. I was on the phone. Door to door. Because that's what they do.
No.
So they go door to door and they sell packages and stuff like that.
This was at the early.
They still
this was
do it?
early.
I think so. Yeah.
Early 2000s. It was like Gay Brossi. Am I allowed to say his name on stage?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you say it 3 times, he'll disappear. Hopefully, he will reappear, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
Because this podcast would then go for 7 hours and would have to beep out a lot of it.
Yeah, he was a bit of a gun at it, he like took me under his wing, took me out for the day because I was struggling for money, and I was like, and that was just like, this just sucks. Like you hear the same conversation with 20 different people a day. You go, you have a little spiel where you're like, so we're just in the neighborhood offering tickets to people who want to come and have a laugh. You'll enjoy having a bit of laugh, and they're like, nah.
No.
I saw the complete opposite, which because normally when someone comes to the door, I'm like, mate, sorry, I don't want it. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I'm not interested. But a friend's partner, some guys were door knocking in our area, and I happened to go to his house that night, and she's like, come in. And they're like, we've never seen this equation before. And she's like, do you want a cup of tea? She's so lovely. Do you want a cup of tea? They're like, oh, yeah. And they're like, so what are you selling? She's like, we're selling this power thing. And she's like, this sounds great. And then I reckon at the half an hour mark, they're like, we need to go.
Yeah, we don't want to
nice.
Yeah. Please don't buy it. Please don't buy it.
What we're selling is fucked. You're actually really lovely. We don't want to scam you. Yeah. We normally prey on vulnerable old ladies.
They're probably enjoying just being a good time suck. It's like, I'll just save my neighbours the trouble of having to talk to these people.
Yeah,
like,
what a good person. What a good. One time when I had like the girls, my 2 girls were like really little, like 2 babies. A lady knocked on my door. I was just desperate for an adult conversation, and she was like, "I'm selling you have to this charity for some wildlife stuff," and I don't care about animals, but I was like, "Yeah, come in." And then I was like, "Do you want?" I even gave her like a Tupperware thing of muesli that I'd made. She was like, "That smells good." I said, "Do you want some?" And she was like, oh, I guess so.
No, I give you the Tupperware container. You got to come back tomorrow, though. Please come back tomorrow. Please come back.
Yeah. Bring it
and
back.
it took so long. And she was like, oh, so do you want to buy this? I was like, well, not. I said, I can give you like a one-off payment, but I don't want, because it was like one
Continuous,
it was like $20 a month for the rest of your life. And I was like, no, I will give you $20 to hang out with me for this one time, but that is it. And then she messaged me for afterwards, which was actually pretty nice. So we're technically friends. She'll be my bridesmaid one day.
Oh, really? I mean, so we should get her on the pod. She's like, anyway, my worst job was this crazy lady who offered me fucking muesli, and I'm like, it's me. Yeah.
But you also, and Brett, you'll love this, Chloe, you used to work in a sex shop.
Yes.
Brett will love this.
Yeah. I worked in a dirty bookshop here in Melbourne, actually, like in the late 90s.
Are we talking toys and books or just books?
Oh, it was the works was toys, magazines, books, and videos, VHS cassettes, because VHS was kind of still. My
thing is like, incredible. Who are these people that go in, rent, wank, come back with the thing, and just dead eye you?
Yeah. Like a book?
Well, that's the thing is that mostly their trade was in VHS videos, and so basically, but they had this kind of strange kind of exchange program where basically like it was no membership, but also like you could get a bunch of them off the shelf and you pay a premium to keep them, but you could bring them back and get $10 off your next purchase or whatever. So this kind of pretty much people are just bringing them back and kind of rotating them through like the circuit.
Ew.
So yeah, it was really wild. I remember like my first day there, just well, not even my first day. I remember I got the job because it was a general bookstore on the top level, and I'd always wanted to work in a bookshop, and I thought it was really romantic and cool to work in a bookshop.
Oh, especially because you thought you were going to be a poet.
So
it makes sense. This is where you wanted to be.
I was like, I loved it. But then it just had this other proviso, which was there was this dirty bookshop in the basement, and every now and again, when someone was off shift or on lunch, I would have to go downstairs and kind of like walk around for an hour, maybe two. Sometimes afternoons, that was all I would do, be working downstairs. But I remember the first day I went in there, I went downstairs and I was like, hey there, I just got the job here. I start on Monday. And the guy looked at me and he goes, and I said, I'm just here to have a look around. And he goes, go ahead, mate. There's plenty to look at.
Well, he wasn't wrong. I bet there were some pretty cool things to look at.
Now, was there like DVD walls like you'd see at Video Easy with like all the covers and then you'd behind it? Or is it a bit more... And also, who's renting a book that's a porno?
Yeah. There wasn't much of an exchange happening on the magazines or books, really. It was mostly the videos. So it was never like, they would sell them in those kind of clear plastic reusable cover type things that you see sort of
like the
selling cartoon comic books in and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it was like, no one's coming back and, like, it's a bit stuck together, but you can probably,
Yeah, page 3 and 4 are out, but the rest of the magazine's pretty good.
Brett has this excellent bit in his comedy where he talks about how he went to a sex shop with an ex-partner of his, and he said the women's section was just like so fruitful, many cool things.
It's phenomenal.
And then the section for the blokes was just like really grim.
It has not changed.
I've seen that, but I love that, the torso.
The torso. It's so funny.
Like ladies have got doesn't even look like, it looks like something from fucking World of Warcraft. It's like silver and it's like this and it's elegant and it's hand cut, and dudes is just like a bare asshole. Just an asshole you can fuck attached to a torso. And it's like bad plastic. Or there's like a fist and like there's just.
I mean, who is it like? It's gonna like because the connoisseur is like I love their products. They get the asshole so right.
That's a good asshole. But a lot of like porn stars now, like if you like a particular porn star, you can get a mold of their vagina and asshole. Which is it's a lot.
That feels
I'm just
so
happy with
invasive.
Happy with an 8x4 autograph.
A signed photo's enough. I mean, unless they're signing the asshole, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh my god!
But I did a gig because of that joke.
Yes.
That a lady, I was doing a gig at, I think it was Gregory or Drogery, whatever this town's called.
Drogery.
Yep. Beautiful pub if you ever get a chance to go there. I fucking love it, and I love doing comedy there. It was actually the wildest gig I've ever done. I don't think I did any jokes. It was the crowd were doing shoeies. It was fucking chaotic.
Amazing.
But a lady came before. And she was on the setup, and I met her last time, and she was showing me all these dildos and pocket pussies in this big fucking suitcase because she was on the show.
Pocket pussy.
Pocket pussy. So it's a vagina that you can keep in your pocket. It's a small one, so it's got nothing attached to it. It's just a vagina, and they call them pocket pussies because they're transportable. You can put it in your pocket. You couldn't really, but they call them pocket pussies.
What do you do with it?
You fuck it.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing with it? You're not taking it out for a fucking hot cross bun.
See you, bro.
Okay, well, I just thought they were her toys.
Oh, no, they're his.
They're his.
Yeah, so like a vagina with the...
Oh, so it's a selection of toys that she just knows that for men and for women.
For men and for women, she had a full suitcase full of like dildos, pocket pussies, fists.
I think my ADHD's caught up with me. Was she like a fuckaware salesperson
Yeah,
or
what
something
is
like
she
that?
got?
No.
That's
Well, this is what got me because I was fucking touching everything, and I was like, "Oh, where do you work? Like a sex shop?" She goes, "No, the recycling center." And I was like, "Oh my god! I guess I'll burn my hand." And she's like, "I've cleaned them." I'm like, "It does not matter." If it's not only been in a bin, it's also been in someone's fucking back bin, their arsehole.
I love it.
And I've just touched it. I was like, fuck.
Not a tip shop, but just the tip shop.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes, just the tip.
Cool.
Nice.
So she's gone through the rubbish.
So she works at the recycling
there.
centre, and her comedy skit was about things that can be and can't be recycled.
Yes.
And because she works at the recycling centre, I'm assuming there's a conveyor
So
belt.
there's a message as well.
Yeah, it's a very she's an eco warrior. Yeah. Microplastics are not a problem for her. She's removing them from the thing. But she came to a gig before and she was showing me all these photos, and she's just got heaps of shit around her house, like all these weird toys because they got to take them off because they're silicone, they can't be recycled. But she just takes them home. And her daughter's like, "Mum, please stop showing the comedian all this stuff." And I was fucking loving it.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah.
I had a great time at this place. I remember one of the things that really amused me was that there was the gay video section was like where we'd also have a tea room. So like it was basically like it was weird that it was kind of segregated like that. It was like, oh, here's all the hetero stuff, but then the gay stuff's in this little room in the back. But it was wild because you'd go in there in the morning ready to start, and you would have to like push the amyl out of the way to get to the milk. And then
both of them technically, if you're putting milk in the coffee, both of them loosen your arsehole. So
exactly, it's all about preparation.
But so they sold amyl.
Yeah, they sold amyl.
Because I didn't know what amyl was till the band Amyl and the Sniffers.
Yeah, right.
But then, so when you're having anal sex, it releases your butthole. Is that what it does?
Yeah, well, it's a relaxant, a muscle relaxant. But it's also like I don't know the science of it, but it's fun.
All I know is it's a fucking good time.
Yeah.
I'd be too scared if would you sniff it or drink it?
Sniff it. So it's like
I'd be worried if I sniffed it, I'd shit myself. Or like, oh no, too loose. I've sniffed too much.
Everything's fallen out.
Yeah.
My intestines are out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it turns into a cloaca or something. It's just like, fuck.
No.
I'm now a seagull.
Yeah,
a friend of mine didn't get his bond back because he sniffed it and passed out and spilt it all over his carpet.
Oh,
they were like, how'd you burn the carpet? And he was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Some
I
guys
have
came in
shat
and spilled
myself.
it.
Yeah, and there's like 15 dudes leaving. I don't know how it happened. But all I know is there's a reason I'm smiling, and fuck you. But actually, I think that's a good way of going like, going like, man, it was amyl. I was having a wild time.
Yeah.
No one's asking too many questions after that. But I suppose you're not getting your bond back.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I remember I had to return a mattress once, and this is nothing to do with
What?
amyl, but just spilt stuff. So I got a new mattress, and
Yeah.
it ended up being fucked.
Right.
Like collapsed. And then the guy he had to pick it up and replace it. And I legitimately spilt like a coffee, and it went through the thing, and there was a stain. And like he pulled the thing, he goes, "Mate, can't take it. There's a stain." I was like, "Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, I just spilled a coffee." He's like, "Sure, mate. That's what they all say." And I was like, yeah, I pissed the bed.
Yeah.
I probably did piss the bed. Yeah.
I come brown.
Yeah, I come brown. Yeah. It wasn't even the right color. I was like, man, if that is my urine, I need to go to a doctor. I am so dehydrated.
But that also checks out.
That does check out as well.
So it's
In
fine.
fact, he actually made a correct decision. I'd like to apologise to the guy at 40 Winks in Carlton.
Yeah.
Oh, so you couldn't take it, so you didn't get it back.
No, because obviously it's a hygiene
Took it to
reason.
the recycling
But
centre.
they're not gonna. But they weren't gonna resell it anyway.
No, so what I had to do is I had to get a professional mattress cleaner in to come and steam clean it for $120, show them the receipt, then they would touch it.
Oh, so they wouldn't. Oh, so it was just for their. They were just going to chuck it in the bin
hygiene
anyway.
reason for the transport guy. But I was like, mate, I worked removals. This never happened. I was picking up
Yeah.
yellow mattresses all the time, going,
Yeah.
"Ugh, I've got nits, AIDS, bed fleas, like just sucking in people's dust. I'm like, I've eaten half a human today. This is disgusting. And this guy's like, oh, there's one stain. That's definitely coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So you've been a comedian for how long, Chloe?
23 years.
Yeah, 23 years.
Yeah,
okay, great. That's ages. And can you think of the worst gig you've ever done?
Yeah, I've had a handful of worse gigs. I remember, I think it's interesting because I think both of you have talked about gigs very similar to this in the podcast
Great.
before. But I got invited to do stand up at a charity.
It's
and
always a charity.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know much about it. Just someone said, "Oh, it's a charity for this thing, but we've organised to pay you." And I was like, "Okay, well that's kind of cool. I can do with the money. Thank you. I'm starving student / artist, whatever." And but I got there and it was basically a fundraiser for this person who was dying of cancer.
Who was in the room?
It was in the room. And basically it was like, we're just going to raise heaps of funds so this person will can afford treatment stuff. So they had an auction selling off some stuff and they had blah, blah, blah. And then I was the comedian. Someone had seen me the week before and thought I was great and then asked me to do this spot. And I'd said to them, hey, like you saw my act. I kind of dropped the C-bomb a bit. I'm kind of like, a bit, I'm not bread and butter comedy. And they're like, oh, you'll be great. She'll love it. It's great. And it was just like the worst because basically like
as soon as they say anything positive like that, you're like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Because like basically, it was in this marquee in the middle of fucking nowhere. So it was actually a 90-minute drive from Hobart. So it was in this marquee on someone's farmhouse property. And basically like it was raining, pissing out with rain. So the floor was just covered in like this kind of sleet and mud. And like, so I had this really bad pair of shoes and my feet were getting soaked. And then basically, nobody introduces you properly or is able to actually gather anyone's attention. So everyone's just chatting, and someone meekly introduces me. And so I've got to fight against all this chatter. And basically, I remember though, I was booked to do 20 minutes. I think I only did about 7 or 8 because it was just an uphill battle.
That's heaps.
Yeah.
And then it was like, but I just remember it was so funny because I got to the point, nobody's paying any attention to me. Basically, I'm just another voice.
But you're very softly spoken as well. So it's not like Brady who charges on stage and goes,
everybody, look at me. My dad never hugged me, so I have to scream loudly for attention.
But I remember I said the first C-bomb or whatever, or even I said fuck or something like that. And this guy just hear this voice go, "There are kids present."
Oh my God. Well, that's fucking on you, cunt. You know what I mean? Start screaming at him.
Exactly. And then I just was like, I felt just wrong. I hated it.
Was it during the day as well?
It was at night too.
Okay, so night, so that's okay. But how old, could you see the kids?
Yeah, they were probably about 7 or 8 or something like that.
Oh, so when there's kids and you're like, okay, can I? The parents are usually like, yeah, they're fine, they've heard it all. But it's the people. I bet the person who said there are kids,
friends of the friends.
The person who said their kids present, they were not his kids. I bet you, because they're the people who were like, oh, now I'm worried that those kids and that parent, and I'm not thinking about what you're saying anymore. I'm just thinking about this. I heard a comedian told me this early on. It's just like an older comedian in Queensland gave me this tip and I will remember it forever. If there are kids present and the parents like, oh, it doesn't matter, you have to say up top, how crazy is this? There's kids here. I asked the parents if I'm allowed to swear and they said, yeah, they hear it all the time. What kind of house is that? And then if you've told them they know that I'm about to swear, then it's okay. Then everyone can relax. But if you haven't addressed that up top, then everyone is just worried that the kids are about to start crying because they've heard a word that they've never heard
also,
before.
I think when they're like, the kids won't like that. It's 90% of the time. It's like, no, I'm an uptight arsehole and I don't like you saying the C-bomb, but I'm going to use them as the fucking scapegoat.
Yeah.
Also, kids aren't absorbing it unless they're like 12 going, fucking hell.
Well, it turns out no one was listening anyway. So
I usually say to something like, hey, that's cool. How old are you? That's right. You've probably never met a trans person before. It's all right. I've never met any kids. It's fine. So,
I've never met one.
I've never met a child before.
Yeah. I mean, I have one of my own, but he's just not.
He's somewhere out there.
So you did 8 minutes at this dreadful gig.
Yeah.
And was it? Did you like get to the end of a punchline and then go, and then that's it, or did you stop halfway through a joke?
I had a few punchlines, and it was just getting nothing. It was just that endless chatter, and I was like going, oh, I've just lost them. They're not even paying attention. I'm just another voice here. And then I got to the 8 minute mark, and I told when you pull out like the gold when you've got something it has like a 98% hit rate or 95%
Yep.
hit rate.
Yeah,
I was just getting nothing, and I was like, "This is like an uphill."
You're gonna hate the rest of the jokes.
Oh, man, I've got one on Friday, and I'm fucking
a charity one.
No, it's like
a corporate.
It's a corporate, but it's like a legends lunch, which is always worse because everyone in the room's from I think maybe it's Hawthorn Football Club, so everyone in there is already high status and better we're better than you. Whereas if you go to like a normal suburban club, you're like, look at this fucking idiot over here. You're a dickhead. And it's like, oh, that guy's a millionaire.
Yeah.
They're all more famous than you. And you're up there like, oh, dance monkey. Yeah. And I don't know I know a few AFL players, but I don't know fucking, I did one for Collingwood and I was just roasting this bloke for his dorky fucking watch. And they're like, that's the captain of the Collingwood Football Club. Like, didn't fucking know. Don't care. Anyway.
Did they love it?
Yeah, but I was fucking half cut. But anyway.
That reminds me because one of my worst gigs was one of my very first corporate type of gigs. When I just come off, I did Raw Comedy 2001 national finalist. And
who won that year?
It was Emily O'Loughlin.
Okay.
And she did breakfast radio in Adelaide for like maybe a year, but just sort of never really.
So you won. That's what I like to say. If anyone in my generation quits from the Raw, I'm like, I've won.
Never
Geraldine
to
Hickey was my year, and then Michael
right.
Chamberlain, Xavier Michaelides.
It's actually that's a strong year.
Strong year.
Actually, real quick, Xavier. So after I won I was a co-winner in 2021 or something like that, and I went. The next day I had to go work at the Project. Have I told this story before?
No.
Brady and I were just saying before you walked
Bron
in.
also works at the Project, and Xavier, well, not anymore, but Xavier's a comedian who now lives in Perth, and you may know him. He's the guy from the Bunnings ads. He does those fake Bunnings ads, and they're so fucking funny. They're great.
They're fucking hilarious.
But I was working from Brisbane, usually just from home, helping writing the jokes. Yeah. But then, because I was in town for Raw, I said, I can come in for that shift. And they're like, oh, great. So one Raw, and then the next day I went into the office and I was meeting all these people for the first time. I'd been working with them for about a year. I walk into the office and they're like, oh, it's nice to meet you in person. What are you doing in town? And I said, I was just here for Raw. And they went, oh, did you... just to watch it? I said, no, I was like in the final.
Yeah, I won.
Didn't say that, but they all went like, oh, they went, oh, great. And Xavier went, mate, don't worry. The winner never amounts to anything. And I went, oh, really? Okay. I went, oh, okay. Okay, cool. And then I'm sitting next to him and I think, I'll just let it slide because it's too awkward for me to say.
Actually, I fucking won, dude.
I went, oh, okay, cool. And he was like, yeah. And I think, because I was quite tired, I think that he assumed I was sad. So he just kept going. And then there was like a lull in conversation or a long time of silence. Or he'd go, honestly, mate, they nothing. They do nothing. Look, I'll show you. And he'd go, my year, M whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of her? I was like, nah. And he goes, see, nothing. And then he's going on the Wikipedia, he's pulling up the winners and he's going, this person, you ever heard of him? I go, nah. See, nothing. But he was going, but in the same year, like Tom Ballard, like Reese Nicholson, all of these people, they've done something. So it's actually shit to win. And I was going, oh, okay, that's good. That's actually really good to know.
This has the best slow burn, this story.
Yeah. And then there's like 6 hours of this shift. And he's like, and this is him just
he's buying you flowers. He's got your lunch covered.
And I just let it go because I'm like, this is going to be the best when he works this out. And I hope I don't have to tell him. I hope he works this out later. And then he said, who were the judges anyway? Like sometimes the judges just don't know. Like who were the judges? And I go, and I list all the judges and there's one I can't remember. And I go, I can't remember her name. And he goes, that's okay. And there's another guy in the room goes, oh, look it up. And he just Googled like Judges Raw 2021. And he looks over like past his monitor at me and he goes, Bron, you're on the website as did you win? And Xavier goes, oh, fuck, mate, I'm so sorry. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Best. And he spent the rest of the shift like this. Oh, fuck, I just did you. Why didn't you say that you won? I was like, as if I'm just going to walk in, the first thing I say. Hey, guys, just one Raw. So I was like, I just, no one asked.
I'm available for photos.
I love that he just assumed I didn't win.
Like, because you came in like,
I was so tired. I've been celebrating all night. Celebrate. Carry that giant novelty.
Yeah.
Actually, some people, I think this year's a real turning point. They're all going to mount, but you proved him wrong. So you're fucking...
Look at me now.
You're on this podcast.
Exactly.
You made it.
So suck shit.
Yeah,
Please subscribe to the Patreon. We really need it.
Go start selling records.
I got like offered this gig where I was like, I was like Justin Hamilton at Limo. It was just Adelaide in the early 2000s, and they're like
the heyday of Adelaide when it was this fucking crazy crew.
It
looked really
pretty
fun.
cool. It's pretty cool. And they were like, "Oh, do you want a gig?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They go, "Great. You can it's a flight to the Moomba Gas and Oil Refinery in Central Australia. It pays $400 and you get to spend a night there, but you've got to just do a set there to entertain the miners or whatever, the gas workers." And like. It was, admittedly, I was still pretending to be a man back then, but at the same time, like,
I really had to lean into that because it's like all the gas workers, you're like, I love testosterone.
Exactly. It was just so wild. But then it was like, again, it was just, and I was very green comedian. I really only had 5 minutes. I was like, running before, I was trying to run before I could walk.
Everyone does that.
But I got there and I was like, but what was wild was that, I sort of did about 20 minutes. Well, I got there.
20 minutes?
Well,
that was 5.
I got there and like, they go, "Oh yeah, you're comedian. The last comic here, it was fucking nearly a riot when he was here." And I was like, "Oh fuck, who's that?" And this Adelaide comedian Dave Flanagan. He ran a place called Comic Sellers, whatever. But he
riot as in it was so good or was so
no,
bad?
I said, "Oh shit, what happened?" He goes, "Fuck, I did only 45 minutes material, went to bed." And
oh my God, and you had 5.
Oh, great.
This is a nightmare.
So I got up there and
40. Even now, if someone says 45, I'm like, I have to look in a notebook. My brain can get to 30 without trying.
I'm pulling out like random ideas. I'm pulling out material I haven't tried yet.
Man, that's cruise ship territory. You can steal someone's fucking joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bought a bag of snakes alive the other day.
That's right.
And they were all bloody dead.
Yeah, you're a great crowd. Great.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Yeah. And what do you do for a living? Oil and gas as well? Fuck.
Yeah, that's right. And then, I kind of got them at one point. I think it was a turning of the tide where I was like, I said, "Oh, and then I got there and there's this big geyser of flame coming out of this like thing at the thing. And they're driving through the oil refinery. He goes, "See that?" And we go, "Yeah." And it's costing us $40,000 a day in fines. Apparently, like they had to let these gas out, but it was cheaper to let the gas burn itself off. Environmental, whatever, than to kind of fix it or whatever.
And shout out to the great guys of the oil and gas industry. We're happy to fucking pollute the world because it actually works out cheaper.
Yeah. Great guys.
40 grand and they were giving you $400.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the fucking thing as well. It's like oil and gas.
Don't tell
Those
me
guys
that.
are on like 20 grand a day.
Don't tell me how much money you're wasting.
You get free accommodation.
Yeah.
Oh, really? In a shithole I don't want to be in? Fuck, how did I get that?
Flame.
I said this thing. I said, I saw the geyser of flame. When I came in here, I realized, you just basically, how do you keep a place running? You must sacrifice comedians once a year.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and they love that?
I was like, I got news for you guys. They sent you a skinny one. And and then they kind of laughed. And I was like, oh, God, I've turned them. I can probably just bring this back. I can write the plane and bring this into land. And this guy walks up in the middle. He goes, "Hey, mate, we've just got some party pies and stuff on the go. You have a break now. We're going to have something to eat."
Have a break?
Yeah. So right when I actually got them.
This is hell.
And then, of course, it was Christmas in July. So basically, like, they had this guy dressed as Santa who was giving out presents to the other miners or gas workers and stuff like that. And he's killing. So basically, he's just sitting there and he's like, "Hey, Barry, come sit on Santa's lap, you little cunt." Like,
Incredible.
There's something in my fucking sack for you, sweetheart. You're like, what?
And I'm like, just, oh, great. This is just great. And then when I got back on stage to continue, because of course I thought, oh, fuck, they're going to lynch me if I don't do more gear.
Oh my God, that must be the most stressful break ever.
Yeah,
literally writing
I would have
jokes.
fucking just gone, you know what? Keep the $400. Or
Throw
I would have
yourself
eaten the
into the
donger.
flame.
This is where I kind of like flipped it. I just went, this is going great, guys. You know what I think? You know what I really think? I think Moomba sucks. This gig sucks. Johnny Farnham, Jimmy Barnes, they suck. I kind of started tearing into them.
Yeah.
I started saying
This gig sucks.
Yeah, I was like,
get the flame ready, boys.
Yeah, I'm like, here's my impression of gas and oil refinery. It's like, where's the hydro lifter? You'd find it if it was hair around it, you stupid cunt. And the weird thing is they loved it. Like they actually fucking really started enjoying it because I was just tearing strips off them. And so I was
And
like,
did they love it?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Oh, there you go. Good.
So I was like, oh shit, but
that's my
That's
default.
I was actually legitimately like just fucking annoyed because then they were like,
Perfect.
oh, they're taking the piss out of us. This is great.
As soon as you flip on them, that's my thing. Is like if I go in a bad mood and I'm super happy and I'm like, I think my key to corporates is 2 white wines. I don't know why, because I turn into I turn into a soccer mum or something. I got a bit of fast. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? You know what I mean? You just hang into them for fucking 20 minutes and you're like, all right, that's my time. See you, cunts.
I've never been rude to an audience. So
no.
Well, that was the first and last time, really. Oh, I remember touring Sydney a few years later, and I remember just losing the crowd at like one crucial point in my set, and like I just was like, yeah, you think this is going great? Well, I've got marijuana and PlayStation.
I'd rather be, man. I lost a crowd because there was a guy who had a Red Hot Chili Peppers shirt on, and I said, oh man, cool shirt. Is that your favorite band? He goes, yeah, that's my favorite band. I was like, in the entire world, the history of music, your favorite band is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, man, I would fucking kill myself. And then the whole audience were like, he's just a nice guy with a band shirt. I was like, kind of shit. Come on. And I thought it'd be like,
did they love it?
And everyone's like, that's Gary. He works with sick children. Why is that?
He's trying to cancer.
We filmed the set. Do you want it? I was like, me violently bombing for 8 minutes. Yeah. I fucking want evidence of that. Now, you've had a lot of shit jobs. Now, have you ever quit in spectacular fashion? That's the question.
No, I fantasized about it.
Yeah.
Are you like 90% of people fantasize, not many people follow through?
I was always like, I'm of course I'm a drama queen, but it was just like, just one day I'm going to push that fucking shelf over and I'm like scream out, fuck you, and storm out. Like,
After 15 years in call centre and you did not quit in spectacular fashion.
No, but I had some pretty great conversations. I remember, I was so lucky that certain calls weren't monitored where I was working. I was working at like Telstra and or as I call it, tell it to somebody Elstra. And
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, well,
that's a bloody in joke for the people in the office.
That's from the vault. That's about 17 years old, that joke. But
hey, if it works, it works.
Exactly. But I remember like just, you get people and you answer the phone and you go, they go, oh, thank God, a bloody Australian. And I'd go, and you're a racist. Click and hang up on them and stuff.
Great.
Like,
just do an accent just to really annoy them.
Yeah.
I've actually been putting it on. Here is an example of it. No.
Yeah, that's right. And then like, just somebody would go like, I see all the young kids with their phones. How are they affording their phones? And like, I don't know. As I just was like, oh, it was and you're whinging.
Yeah, great. Bye.
And
I would have hung up on so many fucking people.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the line's...
And one of my favourite things was like, I remember... I used to
you're right. Telstra is shit. This line is crackling up. Bye.
I used to do this a lot. I'd say I love you right at the very end of the call.
I love that.
I'd be dialing back. Really? I'm in. Hang on.
Because you can tell when they're just about had enough, they're going to hang up on you, and they would go, "Fucking had it with this company. You guys get fucked. I'm taking all my money. I'm taking all my phones. Getting up." And I go, "Okay, no worries. Sorry. Thanks. Bye. I love you."
I love it so nice. That's beautiful because I can't complain.
So I didn't quit in spectacular fashion, but I desperately worked hard at getting fired.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever ring up? And this is down the line of like this, sex shop. Did it? Because like when you used to be able to ring sexual hotlines or whatever, and they were like $15 in a minute or whatever.
0055.
Did anyone ever ring up and like contesting a bill or anything, going like, I definitely didn't ring this number? Or do you have anything like that?
Yeah. It was like in the height of those like back of the magazine. It was like those weird kids downloading ringtones on their or games on their phone.
There's so many of those.
Subscription service where the fine print says, "Oh, we're going to bill you $13 a month, regardless of whether you use anything or buy anything." But then there were those sex lines that are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the parents would call up and go, "Why have my son's phone credit disappeared? Like, or why is all their data being used up?" And you'd kind of be able to actually have a look at where or what they were using it for. And you'd just sort of have to. Sometimes you'd have to just be really like either straight up, or sometimes you would go, "Oh, yeah." So basically, it looks like they've been using their phone after 10 p.m. at night, and they usually stay on for like 20 minutes, and good on him
for lasting that long, if you know what I mean.
This is a conversation you might have to take up with them.
Yeah. How did he have an 18-minute cigarette? Fucking hell. That's a long cigarette. Was it a cigar he smoked at the end of that? Fucking hell.
Exactly. And so there was always that kind of having to talk to parents about what their kids are up to. It's like, your kid's wanking, okay? They're wanking.
Yeah. They're finally masturbating in their room. What do you think they're fucking doing? Right. I went to Europe for the first time when I was like 21 on like a fucking bus about thing, or like kind of like the Kentucky, but you could get on and off when you wanted. And I took my phone with me and I was like, oh, I got reception. My phone, I must have roaming or something. Hell yeah. So I was walking around like, oh yeah, Nan, I'm at the fucking Eiffel Tower. It's crazy. And I'm like, she's like, I was like, nah, it must be covered under my plan. It's like, it's working.
No.
Didn't fucking think $2,800. And this was when I was 18. So it's like fucking $8,000 now, I reckon. I was like, and I just remember, like, I had called Vodafone. I'm like, I fucked up, and they halved the bill, which was nice.
That's nice.
And then Nan paid for another half, and I was thank God.
Wow, you paid for nothing.
No, I paid a quarter of it.
Yeah.
Oh, so she paid a quarter. Okay,
So, yeah, she paid half to half,
well,
and I was.
nice
It was. She goes,
so
you're
nice.
mainly calling me, dearie. I was like, thank you, Nan. I fucking need this.
Yeah, I used to hear the best stories from customers. And I remember also just they would say the most ridiculous things. And I remember one of my absolute favorite things that one of the customers said to me was, it was like, of course, sir, sorry that you're feeling that way. Of course, what we can do is we can cancel your account. That's fine, but there is a $50 admin fee. And he's like, $50 admin fee? How much is that going to be? And I was like, for you, sir,
fuck
you.
$50. That was the exact
Special
moment.
price.
You're like, you know what? I think I'm going to do higher education. I'm hitting the books.
Exactly.
Now, you messaged us saying a friend of yours has quit in spectacular fashion, though.
Your brother's friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. A friend of mine, he had like a kind of a day contract job doing concreting,
which is a fucking hard job.
Yeah, and it was like apparently like I guess this is actually probably stepping back to the late 80s, but it was like maybe it was like, oh, let's do this kid a favor, we'll get him a job, or like maybe it was the dole or something like that, or something like work experience or whatever.
Work for the dole, just a bunch of kids who are high, like, yeah, I'm sweeping. Look at it. Can I have my money now?
Yeah, and then so it was like Adelaide Festival Centre apparently, and it's the middle of summer, so it's probably Adelaide, it's 38, 40 degrees or something like that, and they're all outdoors laying this concrete at this giant place that's like in Adelaide, and they said that his brother was just complaining about the heat, saying, I'm not enjoying this. Is fucking terrible. I'm not enjoying it. Can we go, or can I just like not be here? And they're like, no, you got to fucking stay. And then suddenly it was really quiet on the workplace, and the guy looked over the balcony down onto the floor where the guy was meant to be working, and just in big 4-foot high letters it said, fuck this shit.
Wow.
Fuck.
Yeah, the effort.
Yeah.
It would have been sweating like a bitch, but it would have felt so good to do that. Oh,
But also, it's like, that is the most amount of work you've done all day, cunt. Put that energy into actually working. Fuck you.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, that's like have you guys heard about this? Maybe because you might have talked about it before, but there was this wonderful story I heard about a flight attendant who quit their job like probably 3 or 4 years ago. They were getting all this hassle from like the passengers, and they were just having a shit time. And apparently they grabbed 2 bottles of like champagne, released the inflatable slide on the side of the airplane, and then just jumped out the door.
Incredible. Obviously the flight
had
not.
landed.
Yeah. I was like, what a great way to die. But
drinking those.
Another non-alcoholic champagne. Fuck. But actually, that is the great way. Just grabbing 2 fucking like fuck you business class.
I would think there'd be heaps of spectacular fashion like quitting moments in with air hostesses, because the height of the drama and the bitchiness, you'd like them holding it in, and then being like, do you know what? Fuck this. Like you'd think you'd see one every flight.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is like it's a great way to go, but it's like, how do I not see this every day?
The people who work
just like that kind of, I would like wish list item. I want to see what this slide actually does.
Yeah,
and I want to
does
try.
it
When you
work?
see the slide as a kid, you're like, fuck. I know it's we're probably in mortal danger, but I'd love to fucking try it.
Absolutely. Got to take your high heels off for it, though.
People who do the flight from Perth to Bali, they must be given free Valium, because that has to be the most stressful flight. There's just 50 fucking bogans standing up, drinking 4,000 beer, singlets. Even when I'm on the plane, I'm like, sit down, cunt. You can fucking drink piss and talk shit when you fucking get there.
How long's that flight?
It's like 3 hours. It's
it?
quicker than
But it's so many.
Like every time you go to the airport, what was it? It was It was a table at 8 a.m. and they all had shirts and cowboy hats and it just said rum pigs with each of their names on it. And it had like a pig squealing and someone was pulling its tail. And I think the pig had an erect penis, of
my
course.
God.
And half the people were chicks and they were on, by 8 a.m., I swear to God, they were on like their 12th fucking Bundy can. This is going back fucking 10, 15 years.
Just good ambassadors for Australia, really.
Yeah.
Just Perth. Just build a fucking highway to the place and be done with it, you know? Who cares, you know? Just keep going back and forth.
Yeah. Get a chairlift going.
But thank you very much for joining us today. Is there anything you would like to plug on the podcast?
I don't know. Like when's it go out?
It comes out in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, if you're ever in Hobart, like come to Gag Sabbath at Twisted Lime last Thursday of the month.
Hell yes.
So and I've been working on an animation series.
Oh, cool.
What's
it called?
It's called The Letter Club. And it's like me and a bunch of other animators that are both based in Hobart and Sydney have been making this little thing that's designed for TikTok. So it's like...
Oh, yep, I've heard of it.
Every night. It's kind of big in China or something.
Yeah, it's huge. They're stealing all your data.
Yeah.
Spies, full of spies.
But yeah, so it's like basically a really cute concept that I cooked up. It was really fun. We're just basically, what would happen if the letters of the alphabet could talk.
Okay.
And but every sketch is like a minute to 90 seconds.
Oh, great.
And we've released we have 2 proof of concepts that are coming up online, and I'm really proud of them.
Awesome.
Get around that.
So at Chloe Black Comedy.
Yeah.
And
at Chloe Black Comedy.
There's one up already, but yeah.
Get around it, guys.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much for joining us this week. If you're not already on the Patreon, please jump on side and bloody do it. Also, there's heaps more listeners than there are followers on Instagram. So if you're not already on there, give us a like, give us a follow, jump on the YouTube channel, give it a subscription. That all helps us to make a bit of cash and keep the bloody vodka in the cup.
Yeah, I love vodka.
I love vodka.
I love a cup.
I love a cup. All right, guys. Until next time. Thank you.
See you, loves. Bye.
I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets.
Kill me.